Howdy, and welcome to Book Here, Give Here. We're Travel That Gives. I'm Lulu Lima, your chief travel guru. I hope this episode of Dream Now, Travel Later inspires you to travel, and I invite you to give us the opportunity to help plan your next memorable trip. So grab your popcorn and enjoy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back. It has been a while since we've been on, and I am so excited, as always, because, it is travel about me. But my guest today is Lauren Gribble, and she is a genealogist. And oh my God, we've had such amazing conversations that I needed to bring her to you guys, because how about finding all of our families and all the moving pieces about, what it is right now to just to find how about where we were from, walk in that history, do all those moving pieces, right? How amazing is that? So I'm going to stop talking and babbling, and I'm going to let Lauren kind of kick it off so she can introduce herself and really tune how we're going to be searching for our ancestors.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. And hello, everybody. My name is Lauren Gribble, and I own Find Your Branch Genealogy in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. And so, Lauren, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do in terms of genealogy.
So what I do in genealogy is I help people find out a little bit more about themselves through researching all their family history for them, and also doing consulting as well. And what consulting really entails is I teach you how to do your genealogy because you want to do it through your own efforts. You want to do it by yourself. You don't want anybody's help or anybody to really take it over for you. You really want to see it happen right in front of you and make it come to life through your own efforts.
And that's super awesome, right? So how does somebody get started, and what are the moving pieces to kind of work with you? Obviously there's, I can't just go to you and go, "Hi, I'm Lulu. Can you find my family, please?"
Sure. So basically what I tell people when they come to me is I need to know really the information that you have already on your family, just so I know that the research isn't going to be done all over again. I'm not just simply rehashing what you've done. So I need to have that. And then just in terms of really what you want to know, and what do you know, how do you know this, and what do you want to learn? That's really the questions that I ask my potential clients when they come to me. So that's really what I need to get started.
And that's awesome, right? So okay, so now I've given you, here's the family tree that I know of so far. How do I get to learn about somebody famous in my family? Did somebody invent something? And, maybe I'm connected to amazing people in history.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually a great question, because I have a current client right now who is related potentially to a U.S. president. And
Ooh.
So when that happens, I really have to think, well, is this really the truth? Because typically on Ancestry or another platform, if I see a famous person in someone's tree, I have to think, well, are they just kind of placed in this tree, or is this really fact? And so for this client, I've told them, well, if you really want to confirm this, you have to do a DNA test. And so whenever I see somebody famous, no matter who it is, I always tell people that, just because DNA allows you to confirm from a biological standpoint, rather than just saying, well, this person showed up and I'm just going to put them on my tree because I found another family tree that says they're in it.
And that's awesome. And so there's so many different DNA tests. There's Ancestry DNA, there's 23andMe, there's what is it, family DNA or something like that?
Yes. So Family Tree DNA is one of them. MyHeritage is another one as well. There's another one called Living DNA. So there's plenty of them out there.
Which one is good?
Well, the one that I recommend the most, just due to the size of the database, is Ancestry DNA. They have the largest database of testers, and they have a really good way of figuring out how you're related to the matches that you have. And so
And
that's the one that I recommend the most.
That's awesome. I know that my family did Ancestry DNA as well. And at one point, we actually downloaded our DNA results and uploaded them to the others so that we could essentially, if we had a family member that was, that decided to do it on one of the other sites, we actually were able to go, hey, we're out here. And so that way there was that great opportunity to be able to connect, right? So you definitely want to have some of those things. So one of the reasons why I have, Lauren here to talk about the genealogy piece of things is because there's this whole segment on genealogy travel. And so, of course, me, I have to link everything to travel. So here's what I want to propose to you guys. As you guys are learning about your genealogy and learning about your ancestors, why not walk in history? Why not go to where Lauren is helping you find all of these things that are coming up for you, right? As she's guiding you, you're learning, you're uncovering, you're being your own explorer, right? So this is a travel as a living classroom. Let's kind of get to that. And we're our classroom because we're learning about ourselves. And how great would it be to learn about all of these moving pieces? So with that, Lauren, what else would you like to kind of showcase and be like, hey, I want to help you explore. I want to do this. What is the passion behind genealogy for you that you want to bring to others?
Well, I should note a little bit of my history and how I got started in this. I got started in roughly 2015 because my dad was adopted and I didn't know anything about his heritage, and of course neither did he. And from that experience of really only having two names, it was my grandmother and her husband, and I found out who my actual grandfather is through DNA, I was able to get really far back into my tree, and it really comes from a desire to help people, adoptees and non-adoptees. I do specialized adoptions, so that's where I really like to focus, but I will do other cases as well. So I've done everything from German, British, Irish. I've done Mexican heritage, African American heritage as well. So I'm experienced in many different areas. So that's really where the passion really lies for me, is really helping people really find out where they come from, and just really helping them to discover through the paper trail and DNA really where they come from and where their family comes from. Just because I know not only from my own personal experience but clients' experiences as well, the look on their faces when they find out where they're from, and the fact that I've answered maybe a question that they've had about their family, that to me is the most fulfilling thing really about doing genealogy for a living.
Yeah, and that's super awesome. We actually have Karen who joined us in with a comment. Karen O'Connor is a guide in Ireland, and she's an amazing guide. And she goes, I love to help people find, with Irish roots and walking them. So, there's plenty of people on the ground and all around the world that go, when we give them this information, as I build your itineraries, they're going to be like, oh, and by the way, since I'm local, I know XYZ. So so there's just an extra added piece of all of this. And oh my God, how amazing is that, right? Like you have a local who's going to be able to help you. You've got Lauren who goes, I know how to find your genealogy. I'll get you your tree, or get you to get you your tree, right? So, and we have all of these moving pieces. I build your itinerary. You've got amazing people here that all we want to do is wrap this up for you and go, let's go learn, let's go explore, right?
Absolutely. That's the best part about both genealogy and travel.
Exactly.
That you get to learn.
And there's so much culture that we're not only going to learn, but all the food behind it, right? Because all of our genealogy always has some food behind it. And as y'all know, I love to eat. I mean, I didn't become a big girl for no reason, right? So I enjoy that. I enjoy going into different countries and going, ooh, what's that? And how does it relate to? And the history of food Imagine learning some of the history of food with your own personal history. Or what about people who were shipbuilders? I mean, and how they did all of these things. And depending on how far back we can trace, I mean, especially if you've got Irish roots or anything along those lines, maybe you can go back as far as the Vikings. Imagine that. Because all that is Nordic.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Irish ancestry is a little bit more difficult to figure out just because at a certain point, records obviously aren't there. Not to say so much that it's not possible, but it is a little bit more difficult.
You know what? I knew that as we started learning through my family history now through COVID, my mother's grandfather, so my great-grandfather, actually came from Spain to Cuba. And so we didn't realize how close it was. And so we were like, well, maybe my mother actually could qualify for a Spanish passport in addition to, everything else that she has. And so believe it or not, we're still trying to figure all those out. And I'm learning about these little tiny towns in Spain that I didn't know about. And I'm just like, ooh, gotta go figure that one out. So there's again, lots of those moving pieces and as people migrate from one country to another, back in the day, there was certain records that were done and, or not, right? So, during the time where my great-grandfather married my great-grandmother, well, it wasn't necessarily a true marriage the way we know it today with documents. It was common law marriage. Those aren't documented anywhere. So it's so hard to figure out all those moving pieces.
It is. And, some families are easier to figure out, others aren't. It really depends upon the paper trail that they leave behind. And when you get into ancestry and DNA and looking at your matches, kind of what trees that they've built and really what documents that they have found. Just because, another relative may be researching another part of their family or the other side of their family or what have you. So every family is different. Everybody has a different paper trail, and the things that somebody else finds in their family, you may not find. So it all depends upon the situation.
Yep, absolutely. So whether you're looking for your family that's indigenous, or whether you're looking for your family that is, from the European old world, there is a way to find your family anywhere. And so Lauren really gives you all of the tools that you need. So I highly recommend her. That's why she's here. She's my girl.
Well,
and at the same time, I want you guys to be able to go, think about it. Especially if you have children and you want to be able to give them that opportunity to go, here, let's learn your roots. Even if they are adopted children, you can give them your roots and you can find theirs. And then they can kind of go, you know what, I've got 2 family trees now that I can really enjoy and be a part of. And I think that would be, that's a great opportunity. Again, creating your mind, opening it up and bringing it to that next level. So Lauren, as we wrap up, is there anything that you'd like to tell our viewers today?
Well, again, thank you for having me. And just if you're interested in doing genealogy and whatever family it is, whether it's your family, your spouse's family, if your kids are adopted, their birth families, whatever family that you have an interest in and you need help with, I'd be more than happy to help you. Definitely. So you can reach out to me. My website is www.findyourbranchgenealogy.com, and my email is lauren@findyourbranchgenealogy.com. And I'm located in Austin, Texas, and I can work with anybody throughout the United States.
Awesome. So, and just because you start in the United States doesn't mean that you're limited to being in the US. You can work globally.
Yes, that's correct.
So this is a global adventure, and I think that we should take this on. Let's take the globe and wrap it around our hands. It is a small world after all. So with that, Yeah. Thank you so much for joining and talking about genealogy.
course.
I'm so excited. And I hope you guys, if you're watching on a replay, if you have questions, feel free to message me or message Lauren, however you'd like. And we'd be happy to answer your questions. So thanks so much. And until the next time,
Of course.
namaste, everyone.
All right. My pleasure. Thank you so much.